In this edition of the Best of Muscle magazine, the Cincinatti Fitness Festival, where a fitness legend swept the Fitness America Pageant, and one of the Midwest's best bodybuilders came out of retirement to clean up at Muscle Mania. Then, a blast from the past, as Florida's massive Ivar Sallay shows proper form on some of bodybuilding's most abused exercises. And before communism fell in the Soviet Union, bodybuilding was an outlaw activity. In 1989, Muscle magazine was led to an underground gym in the Moscow suburb of Lubersy to witness the secret world of the lubers. Let's join our host, Rod Steele.
Hi, we've got a great show for you today. Not only with the Muscle Mania, but a Valio workout showing proper form and secret Soviet gym footage. So get out a carb drink as we bring you another 30 minutes of the Best of Muscle magazine.
Is back.
Don't drive angry.
Back in charge. Back in action.
I'm not going to live by their rules anymore.
Back in shape.
Don't you worry about cholesterol, love handles?
Wow.
Back for the craziest day of his life. Bill Murray. Groundhog Day.
Sneak preview Saturday in select cities. Check newspapers.
Marnie McBean, Olympic gold medal rower.
I've tried some 2-in-1s. My perm was still coarse. Some separate shampoo and conditioners made it limp.
Introducing a 2-in-1 breakthrough. New Perk Plus revitalizing formula for permed or colored hair. It's specially made for balanced conditioning that leaves hair fuller than some shampoo and conditioners. More manageable than some 2-in-1s.
So if you want your permed or colored hair to be fuller and more manageable, try New Perk Plus. Breakthrough care for permed or colored hair.
Ohio is the heart of bodybuilding in the Midwest, with luminaries like John Perillo, Matt Mendenhall, and David Dirth. Then the Fitness Festival came to Cincinnati and changed the way Buckeye bodybuilding contests were staged.
The high-paced extravaganza known as the Fitness Festival made its second stop of its summer tour in Cincinnati, Ohio. As usual, the lighting and sound system rivaled that of a rock concert, and the stage was set for a day of music, motion, and muscle. Thanks to competitions like the Fitness America Pageant, fitness competitors are starting to get the respect they deserve. The women in Cincinnati had done their homework not only in the gym, but in the dance studios, aerobics classes, and a variety of other places. Here are the top 4 finalists from the Cincinnati event. Fourth place finisher Carrie Davis had won 2 swimwear competitions in 1989 and 1990, but this was her first attempt at the fitness title. Preparing for this contest was a family affair, since her husband, Michael Looney, competed in the Muscle Mania event. Together, they own the Edge Gym in Canton, Ohio, where she also teaches step aerobics. Obviously, Carrie has made fitness a lifelong pursuit.
I wasn't prepared for this contest. I just came to watch the show, and I got talking to a few of the people here, and they said, why don't you do it? And I had my dress, and I had a swimsuit, because I was in a swimwear contest. So I said, okay.
Placing third was the youngest woman in the pageant, hometown favorite Melanie Cobb. Although she works as a hairstylist, she finds the time to train 6 days a week for 2 hours each day, combining weight training with cardiovascular conditioning. She claims to have an eye for fashion and style, and that came through in the outfits Melanie wore in each of the 3 rounds.
I enjoy working out and seeing the results, and I want to display it and more or less just get something out of it.
Runner-up was the multi-talented Ursula Buck Ames Henry, an actress, dancer, and personal fitness trainer from Detroit. She's also active in gymnastics, swimming, and bodybuilding, training every day for top condition. Among Ursula's many victories are the Mrs. Michigan USA Physical Fitness and Ms. Elite Physique. She tours with a children's health and fitness show called Healthy Me, and was also a contender on the popular TV show American Gladiator. We're surprised Ursula was able to find the time to compete in this pageant.
I wake up in the morning and exercise. I take a jog every morning, and then I follow it out with the workout. I work my muscles, and this is something that comes naturally every day to do, just like brushing your teeth.
The winner of the pageant was one of the fitness pageant industry's most accomplished competitors, Florida's Debbie Crutch. You may recognize her from her many appearances in muscle magazines such as Muscle Mag International, where she recently shared a cover with her boyfriend and training partner, Lee Apperson. Although Debbie was unathletic until her early 20s, she now trains an unbelievable 5 times every day, combining biking, stair running, and weight training to shape the physique that for 2 years has symbolized fitness to millions of women.
I feel that through the fitness competitions, it keeps me motivated through my workouts throughout the year. And also when I compete, I'm also able to inspire rather than discourage other women to get into the gym, to train and retain that feminine quality as well.
With the Fitness America pageant complete, it was time to move on to what many in the audience had traveled hundreds of miles to see, the ultimate body battle in the tradition of muscle mania. First came the teenagers with some of the Midwest's most muscular young men. Even though fifth-place finisher Rob Beaudry has only been training for a mere 18 months, he has a solid 13 years of hockey, wrestling, and football behind him that gave him a head start in bodybuilding. In fourth place was Eric Gerber, a thickly developed student from Worthington, Ohio. His story is a familiar one. He began training with weights for high school football and got addicted to making gains. When he gets his contest preparation right, look out. When third-place finisher Henry Colon began training to look good for his girlfriend, his mother feared the 115-pound Henry would lose weight. She had nothing to worry about, since his gains never stopped coming from that day on. The former boxer was coming off a fifth-place finish at the NPCT Nationals and plans on putting a lot more size on for next year's season. Runner-up was Indiana's teenage bodybuilding guru, Andy Skinner. At 5'7", the powerful 18-year-old bulks up to a frightening 225 pounds, training with his friend Jerome Howard. He wrestled for all 4 years of high school and is also a National Merit Scholar. Look for Andy at the 1993 Teen Nationals. Unfortunately for the teams at the Cincinnati Muscle Mania, Eric Poehler had such a good time winning the Milwaukee contest that he decided to pay Cincinnati a call. Needless to say, the 242-pound Poehler walked away with the show with his tremendously thick physique. He wanted us to emphasize that he's done it all drug-free, and he hopes more teams will follow his example. Bantamweight winner Emmanuel Jagden got so pumped up from Muscle Mania, he set his sights on next year's USA Championships. The pharmacy student from Beckley, West Virginia, began training as a powerlifter to add mass. Lightweight runner-up Rick Zerbriggen was another Milwaukee competitor who decided to make the Muscle Mania double play. The former Mr. Colorado was a strong second place, and we're sure his wife and 12-year-old son Derek are happy to see him on television once more. After 4 third-place finishes and another 4 second places in 4 years of competing, Michigan's Ed Shapakassi knew he was ready for a win. This steelworker's physique was forged through 7 years of training. And unless you saw him up on a scale, you'd never guess that Ed weighed in at 154 pounds. His excellent potential is just starting to show. Local legend Larry Schweer is well known in Cincinnati, both as a trainer and competitor, with an impressive list of female protégés who have competed successfully. He began training 10 years ago to counter his small stature and found that his super-fast metabolism made contest dieting easy. Middleweight winner Mike Looney successfully made the move up from the lightweight class, where he had won that division at the 1990 Ohio Championships. Along with his wife, Carrie Davis, he's the co-owner of The Edge Gym in Akron. His family wishes he would ease up on all the contest dieting that has consumed a major part of his 5 years of competing. As a child, light heavyweight runner-up Mike Leigenauer read the infamous Charles Atlas ads in comic books and dreamed of having muscles. The Perillo performance advocate became a teenage sensation, winning the Teen Indiana and placing runner-up at the Teen USA after just 1 year of training. He now works as a personal trainer and a repo man, and you can be sure he gets what he goes after. Although he seems like a rough character, he has some heartfelt advice to kids thinking about getting into bodybuilding.
The big thing I would stress is to anyone is leave your ego at the door. When you come into the gym, just leave your ego outside. The biggest problem I see with young people is they go in and try to bench press, the house. That's always the typical question, how much do you bench? And it doesn't really make any difference. doesn't make you a better bodybuilder and doesn't make you a better person. It just means how much can your joints stand for a limited amount of time.
Not much has been heard from Jeff Lauber since 1989, when he won the Mr. Ohio and placed 8th at the USA. He started thinking about Muscle Mania last year, and it brought him out of retirement with a vengeance. His trademark size and hardness were better than ever. Jeff is the owner of the Powerhouse Gym in Troy, Ohio, where he sees a lot of bodybuilders just starting out.
You can't get discouraged because it's not going to happen overnight. It's just a matter of putting in year after year after year and being consistent with it, and with your nutrition and your training, combining all that together, and it's just basically a time game. So if you got the time and the willpower and the drive to train, anybody can put size on.
Who says bodybuilders aren't real athletes? Not only is Chuck Campbell a massive heavyweight bodybuilder, but he holds a black belt in Korean Taekwondo and played semi-professional football. Obviously, his 7 meals a day have helped Chuck to add a lot of size. And he made easy work of the heavyweight class. When it came down to the overall pose down, the crowd went crazy for former Mr. Ohio light heavyweight winner Jeff Lauber. His freaky cuts and density made him look even bigger than the heavyweight, who outweighed him by over 30 pounds. It was no surprise when Jeff was announced as the overall champion of the Ultimate Body Battle and became another victorious Muscle Maniac. The Fitness Festival left Cincinnati with hundreds of fans already inquiring about next year's schedule. Will the Fitness Festival return? Have no fear, Muscle Mania will be back. For Muscle Magazine, I'm Chris Adams.
You've heard about it in the gym and on the street. A way to know when all of ESPN's hot bodybuilding programs are on the tube. It's the Bodybuilder's Hotline. It's quick and easy. 1-900-PUMP-IRON for just 99 cents a minute. You'll always know when to watch for ESPN's programs like Muscle Magazine, the best of Muscle Magazine, and all of the special one-hour events like the USA Championships from Muscle Beach and the Mr. Olympia.
Up next, a Miami legend demonstrates correct lifting form. Don't miss it.
Why settle for average protection against razor irritation when Edge gives you the best? Edge Gel. Ultimate closeness. Ultimate comfort. That's the Edge.
McCain has a great new pizza snack. They call it Pizza Pockets. McCain! Pizza Pockets. The great pizza taste will keep you coming back. McCain! Pizza Pockets. Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but McCain! Pizza Pockets. No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
Although he has since retired from training and competition, Florida's Ivar Sallay was one of the nation's most massive amateurs in 1989. Here, the 250-pound sensation demonstrates proper form with some exercises that bodybuilders tend to cheat on.
The difference between training and training correctly comes down to one essential factor, form. And though it may seem like a little word, it makes a big difference in the final results attained. Today, we'll go through a number of different exercises with Ivar Sallay as he prepares for the upcoming men's nationals. And since Ivar has such an incredible chest, let's begin there with a very popular movement, the flat bench press. Notice how wide a grip Ivar takes, and also the isolated movement as he brings the bar to his neck instead of to his chest. This movement is also known as the guillotine, and you can see why, because it stretches the pecs fully and with the elbows pointed outward, isolates that inner chest. Another movement often performed incorrectly is the dumbbell fly. And again, notice the use of a full range of motion, completely stretching the pecs at the bottom and rotating the dumbbells inward to help contract the chest fully at the top. Ivar actually overemphasizes the movement to really burn the upper and overall pecs, and he squeezes the chest muscles together, making a point to not use his shoulders or delts in the process. Cable crossovers are another exercise where you have to concentrate on squeezing and isolating the inner pec muscles. Remember, the key behind all of these exercises is strict, proper form, and Ivar often pauses at both the contraction and stretch points of the movement, keeping constant tension on the muscle group throughout. The same theory applies to all body parts. For instance, the triceps, and probably its most commonly performed exercise, the tricep pushdown. Use a medium grip with the elbows in close to the body. This assures that the tricep itself, and primarily the rear head of the muscle group, remains isolated and performs all of the work. With the tricep extension, turn the elbows slightly outward to hit the outer head of the tricep. Don't swing the weight. Instead, control it throughout the full range of movement. Once you understand the proper form, the actual movement remains the same for all exercises. A concentrated and fluid movement with a full contraction and a full extension. When you perform more unique exercises like this variation of the concentration curl, form is all the more critical. This curl is also done with cables, but the dumbbells tend to really isolate the bicep and give shape to the muscle. The elbows remain perpendicular to Ivar's body, and there is not much movement other than the intended squeeze of the biceps, then the stretch of the muscle as it's extended outward. A popular back exercise is the T-bar row, which adds thickness and density to the back and lat region. Notice the narrow grip that Ivar takes, and that he pulls the bar to the upper ab area with his elbows up high. This allows the shoulder blades to squeeze together, building that crucial thickness into the middle back. And here's a perfect finishing exercise to complete a grueling leg routine, the sissy squat. This exercise can be performed with weight, but as you can see, it's hard enough without it. Keep your feet as close as possible and stay way up on your toes to keep the pressure on the thighs. This really hits the sweep of the quads, especially when you superset them, taking minimal rests between sets. You really don't have to throw around tons of weight to make substantial gains, and whether you lift 500 pounds or 5 pounds, just make sure you're using proper form and hitting the body part that you're focusing on. A good tip-off is if you can feel the movement in the desired muscle as you're performing the action. Then you're on the right track. Train hard and train smart. For Muscle Magazine, I'm John Kobick.
Imagine visiting yourself in the future.
Wow, look who's here.
I know you.
Sure do. I'm you 25 years later.
What am I doing here?
We spend our winters here.
Did we win the lottery?
No lottery. Freedom 55.
Only your London Life representative offers Freedom 55. Protection today, plus a financial plan that works, so one day you won't have to.
And when did we start driving convertible?
About the same time we started surfing.
Surfing?
Accelerate your breath.
Excel, the sugar-free gum that freshens your breath longer.
Accelerate your breath.
Only Excel with EMC has a unique cooling sensation that keeps your breath fresh longer.
Accelerate your
Don't just freshen your breath, accelerate it with Excel sugar-free gum.
Accelerate your breath.
Just a few years ago, communism ruled the Soviet Union with an iron fist. At that time, activities like bodybuilding were strictly illegal. Capitalist individualism and anyone who wanted to lift weights outside of state-controlled Olympic weightlifting was asking for trouble. Muscle Magazine visited the Lubers in their secret underground gyms in the tough city of Lubertsy.
On the surface, the Moscow suburb of Lubertsy looks like an average Russian town. But look and listen. Literally beneath the surface, and you'll find a different Lubertsy, a Lubertsy hidden from most people. The stench down here suggests only the strong-willed choose to walk down these paths, the paths to strength and pride. For under almost every apartment building, bodybuilders, men and boys, are hard at work in homemade gyms.
There is a long-standing tradition of bodybuilding in Lubertsy. It started in the 1960s, kind of by accident.
Lubertsy is a sports-minded town, so naturally, bodybuilding is big here. Kids grow into the sport as a matter of pride. They lift weights, not to compete, but to prove their manhood. The government had forced bodybuilders in Lubertsy and other Russian towns to go underground. It was only recently that the Kremlin changed its mind and recognized bodybuilding as an official sport. But it was when bodybuilders from Lubbertsy came out of the basement that the trouble began.
I think it's okay that the guys from Lubbertsy practice bodybuilding, but it's not right that they use their strength for violence. They get money from other people because they're strong and do things like that. I think that's bad.
What is this Moscow man talking about? A reputation. A reputation for intolerance of other views, extortion, and violence. It's the reputation of the Lubers.
Lubers are the guys who established a network of underground gyms in their hometown and practiced bodybuilding there. They didn't share the conviction, the ideas of some groups of Muscovite youth. For example, they didn't share the aspiration toward rock music. And they came in Moscow to fight and to beat those guys who like heavy metal music.
Lubers are mostly teenage boys who come to Moscow for entertainment.
Our young people in Lubbertsy, they do not have much opportunity for entertainment, so they come to Moscow for theaters and discos.
We have always wanted to go to Moscow to have a rest, to have some action. And we go to cafes, restaurants, and discos, and that is natural. Of course, there was plenty of interest in those places for local guys, and that led to clashes. Lubers aren't an organization. They're just some kids who have hot blood, and they want to do something. They want action, and sometimes they fight. And these guys, they have a hymn. It starts like this. Lubbertsy will become the center of Russia, and they profess that they are for social justice. But in fact, in practice, all that ends up is fighting.
Sergei Zaitsev is a Luber. He was born and raised in Lubbertsy, and he's become a champion powerlifter and bodybuilder. Sergei admits Lubers are a close-knit group, and they stick up for each other.
Everybody sticks together. There is revenge if a Luber gets beat up. Big guys in Lubbertsy come to Moscow. Skinny guys don't like it.
But Sergei and other Lubers say their reputation far exceeds reality.
I think the bad reputation of Lubbertsy is exaggerated, mostly by the press. After the press took up the story, gangs of youngsters in Lubbertsy started to organize to go to Moscow and to fight there. Actually, what the press did was to give them the incentive to do this. In late 1986, the press cracked down on unofficial organizations. The Lubers were hit hard. The press said bodybuilding wasn't healthy. It was an attempt to gain individual strength, which was bad.
Many Moscow citizens agree that the Lubers aren't that bad.
I think their reputation is because Lubbertsy is a small town, and guys from Lubbertsy stick together, and they go along the streets in big gangs and not alone.
In fact, a recent survey indicated that Lubbertsy had the lowest juvenile delinquency rate of any nearby Moscow suburb. Lubers, like Sergei, say the press has backed off somewhat, but they contend authorities still keep a close eye on their activities. That's one reason why they won't say much on camera. But what goes without saying is that the pride built in these underground gyms has given the town of Lubbertsy and the sport of bodybuilding in the Soviet Union a controversial reputation.
As America's premier women's fitness event, the Fitness America Pageant is growing each year in popularity. Because it combines the athleticism, poise, and natural beauty of the fit woman, it can do without the usual show antics, like those included in many other women's fitness events. In fact, the fitness aspect of the competition has proven to be as popular as the swimwear. If you would like to compete in the Fitness America Pageant National Championships, we'll be happy to provide you with a list of the qualifiers scheduled throughout the nation this year. Just write us at Post Office Box 646, Rosemead, California, 91770. We'll be right back.
Now, McCain brings you French fries, the next generation. McCain Golden Crisp.
The natural taste of fresh Canada No. 1 potatoes, locked in with a delicate crispy coating. So when you crunch through that crispy coating, you'll taste the best fries that ever came out of an oven. McCain Golden Crisp. New cross tracks and spirals. McCain Golden Crisp, the next generation.
Craig and Kevin Jones, identical twins except when it came to their hair. The Kevins looked great, but Craig had dandruff. I had to prove to Craig that he could take care of the flakes and still have hair that looked as good as Kevin's. So I washed half his head with ordinary shampoo and half with Head & Shoulders. Even with regular use of ordinary shampoo, the flakes come back. But with regular use of Head & Shoulders, look, no more flakes. Now Craig's hair looks just as good as Kevin's. Maybe better. Head & Shoulders, dandruff care for great-looking hair.
Well, that's it for another edition of the Best of Muscle Magazine.
By blacks from